Evening and welcome along to another episode of Not Another Rangers podcast. The season has barely started and already we'd be happy to put it in room 101. Another turgid performance midweek provided our very own version of men behaving badly. A boardroom conspicuous by its absence, scared to face the music and all the foresight of the senior management of the British Empire. At the moment, we have a stadium that's current condition is more faulty towers than no place like home. I believe it was Aid Edmondson's character Eddie in Bottom who famously said, "We haven't got any money, that's the problem." A summer transfer budget that promised 4 candles and instead delivered fork handles. Joining me to discuss that and all things and more Rangers is Mr. Scott Kerr, Ricky Forbes and JD. Scott, how are we?
I'm not bad. Slight issues there starting this, didn't we? But we're here now, so let's have it.
No, we do apologise for the technical difficulties, but
let's blame Ricky.
We have international jet setter Ricky Forbes here. Ricky, how are we?
Oh, very good, man. Sorry about that. I had a very, don't know what happened there, but I thought I was good with technology, but obviously not.
And JD, how's yourself, mate?
I'm good, yeah. Good to be back and on, yeah. Looking forward to it.
So let's
get that far behind us. Rangers are still winning trophies.
So let's get stuck right in it. And what a great place to start, because obviously Philip Clement had another press conference, and I don't know how you are beginning to feel about them now, but it's a touch of the Pedro Caixinhas for me. Scott, it was again split into 2 different press conferences, one earlier in the afternoon and then another one at 7 o'clock. There was a few alarming things for me in it. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but certainly the first thing that I want to, sort of pinpoint in regards to Clement is he said, if you look at the game during the week, the red card is a bad decision, but we didn't play bad. It wasn't a fair result. That's the first thing that I want to take, I'm up on, because, I didn't think we were, poor in the first half, but we weren't great and we never really troubled them. And again, Czerny started on the bench. We never really provided a threat against them. So what do you think about Clement's summary there?
I don't think he can come out. Listen, I've been quite angry since the other night because I thought I was looking for a lot better than we gave. And obviously the red card came into it, but I didn't think we performed that well. I thought we were comfortable at times, but we didn't really look threatening. But going into it now, Davey, I think he has to be careful with what he says. He doesn't want to alienate other players in the team he's probably already alienated. So he's maybe trying to gear them up for tomorrow. Maybe he's not want to say we were that bad. But I still don't take into account. Listen, the red card was awful. We all know it was awful, and it wasn't a red card. It wasn't a second year like make a red card. It wasn't a booking in my eyes. But I didn't think that was the main issue we lost. I thought we didn't equip ourselves good enough. We didn't threaten Kiev enough. I know we had a lot of the ball at times, but we didn't threaten them. They didn't really threaten us. They had a couple of chances, but nothing great. I thought it was a poor game, but I'm not hiding behind this sending off as an excuse. I was part of it, but it wasn't the main issue for me.
And Ricky, I want to bring Clement under the microscope here in great detail amongst us all. And one thing that he did say was the fact that obviously, in his estimation, it's difficult to pick the players up after that result. They're really down at the moment. Now, if you're a good man manager, is motivation no part of your job? Why is he saying that to the press? For me, too many times now, the sound bites we can't well. He's gave the inner sanctum of the dressing room. He's publicly saying that we've got players that we have to get ready and can't. What's that showing him to be as a man manager? Certainly, in going by my history as a Rangers fan, and I've been following them since 1986, Philip Clement really has to come under the microscope for airing dirty laundry far too often.
Yeah, it's his job to get the players up for tomorrow. I mean, Hampden's going to be empty. I'm seeing anywhere from like 16,000 to 30,000 bears that are going to be at Hampden tomorrow. So the atmosphere is going to be absolutely dreadful. And that's what the leadership group is for, you know. We've got a leadership group in there. They have to speak to the players. And I know it's a cliche to say, but you shouldn't need motivation to play for Rangers, you know. We've not had a great start to the season. Tomorrow we're playing St Johnstone at home. I really, really hope he puts some freshness into the team. I don't want to... If we start tomorrow with Lawrence and Sterling at left back out of position again, then even the 16,000 that are going to Hampden will be totally demoralised. He needs to put some freshness in the team. He's got to start Fraser at left back. He's just gave him a new contract. And we need to start seeing some young players. He's given all these players a chance after chance after chance after chance. And as I said in previous pods, they keep letting us down. So put a bit of freshness in the team and we'll see how we perform tomorrow. But you think things can't get any worse. But if we don't win tomorrow, then, oh my God, it doesn't even bear thinking about. Levine, you know what Levine is like. He will be licking his lips at the opportunity to have a go at Rangers tomorrow.
And JD, just touching on the theme that Stuart's put in the comments here, he does say, Clement, on the one hand, you know, that the players are really down, it's going to be hard to pick them up. But then he also says that the squad's progressing well under his estimation. You know, he says that they're getting better and better and the potential is here. You seen that?
Two things. I thought I actually was okay with the performance in the first half the other night. It was Hampden. I actually, at half-time, a lot of people were texting me saying we are terrible. And I actually was like, I'm happy. I thought if that game progressed the way the first half went, I'd have seen us winning that, maybe 1-0. So the card did. But I understand what Kerr's saying as well. But for me, his comment, the big comment for me, I think, was there's many players that I've told that aren't part of my plans that we need to get rid of and we can't find a seller. So you need to be coyer about that. Either tell the boys that, don't tell us that, right? Because we're just going to go out. Why do we need to know that? Because see the boys that you're 2 or 3 injuries away from going back to the guys that you've told you don't want. Well, I need you to come and play. So you've got like, Matondo's dreadful. I'm not a fan. He's never Rangers class. I reckon he's one that's been told, because he's not featuring now. So I reckon he's one that's been told we will never get a buyer for him because he's only what, 26, 27 grand, right? He's not going to get that anywhere else. But you're going to need to con him eventually. It might even be the Mora. And what's that? These boys don't care about Rangers. Football's different nowadays. They probably didn't even grow up at a time where Rangers was a factor in British football. So the problem is now they don't have anything. So, well, I'll come and play. I'm on 26 grand. Yeah, I'll play, Gaff, on the board, but you tell me you don't want me. So I'll play, but I'll not play the way I probably could play or I should play. So that one was that was annoying, that one for me. I didn't like that comment.
GD, can I come back to you on that? Because the point you make is valid, but if we add to it, is he not depreciating the value of every player that we're trying to sell by putting that out in the public domain?
Aye, every player. It's almost like you're at a stage now where 26 grand a week, would I let Matondo go on a free to free up those wages? I honestly think I would. Honestly, if a club down south would take him for nothing but cover his wages, I think I would do that. So you have totally depreciated the value of most of the fringe players on your team because you know the ones he's talking about. Just jump on Twitter and you'll know it. Davies, Matondo, all the boys are the ones that we want rid of. So Ricky said that, like, we gave Robbie Fraser, Robbie's like 22 or something. We gave him a new deal. It's time for him to come out the B team now. I know he plays maybe for minutes, but he's got to be maybe right now probably the left back, because Jeffy needs to play out in the left wing because we've not got anybody else that can play there, because you're either going to go with Scott Wright, who's got an injury, or you're going with Matondo, and I'd take Jeffy over Matondo every day of the week. So that means put Robbie in at left back because Ridvan again is injured.
And Kerr, if I can touch on it with you, I think that there certainly were a few question marks in regards to the thing he said. Now, he starts talking about the Man United 99 documentary. What relevance does that have to Rangers? And he's talking about, they come into that summer on a downer. David Beckham had a horrible World Cup incident. And then he goes on to the fact to say, but Roy Keane was the leader to pick them up. Now, Rangers don't have a leader in that sort of mould. Do you know what I mean? A player like Roy Keane that had that tenacity and somebody that can, grab players, by the shirt and tell them off and gee everybody up. That was a very strange comment, was it not?
I think the point he's trying to make is the season ended really badly for us, didn't it? We were in position for the league in a cup final and then we ended up with nothing. Well, out of tournament, no, we won the League Cup, but we ended up no league and no Scottish Cup. And I think he's trying to say, when he watched that documentary, he seen similarities between us and United, and he thought he could maybe say that, but it was a wrong kind of thing to say in my eyes, because one, we are Rangers, a different situation, and two, they had guys you can rely on back then. They had a manager who had been proven, had a guy in midfield that you say Roy Keane who would knock Kez in the dressing room, never mind rallying together. We don't have that. So I don't know why he was comparing it that way, but I get his point. I would get what he's trying to say. But he's going to come on to me. He came in when he first came in, his press conferences were decent. And unlike Beale, who would tell you everything, he's getting this way. And he's telling us things, sometimes, like you said, we don't really need to know. I don't really want to know what his play had you. He's fell out with Campbell twice, but he said when he backed him to say to play. But after somebody's fell out with you a couple of times, I'm not going to play for you, like JD said. If they do, I'm not going to run through a brick wall for you. They'll get by, but I'm not going to put in 100% effort unless it was somebody else in charge. So I can get what he's trying to come forward with, but I think he's going to have to keep things closer to his chest and just try to rally them inside that dressing room. Dressing room used to all be in a sanctum, didn't they? Never really knew what was going on in the dressing room. I know I always go hark back to Walter Smith, but he didn't really know stuff. He heard stuff, but he never really knew what was true and what wasn't. But he had the dressing room locked together, all going in the same direction. I don't know if he's got that, and that's why he might be trying this. I don't really know. I mean, I want it to work for him. I really do. I think he is trying, to be honest with you. But what we're seeing and what he's saying and everything's there's so many different directions. It's like Spaghetti Junction, Ibrox, and we don't know who's going what way, basically. But we just need to go game by game, I think, and try and get a result each game. We can't only kind of further on that. And on the point JD made about Matondo, I agree with him. I mean, he's costing us a lot of money. I've always said he runs in the direction he's facing. And if there isn't any pitch lines we keep running, I just don't think he's a football player. I don't, and it's no disrespect to him. I just think he's awful for what it was Ross Wilson that brought him in. And maybe we're going to have to let guys go free. But the only thing that is, if they've got a contract sitting there, they've got a right to say to you, if you want me to go, give me a payoff to make me go. So that could lose his money as well. So we're probably in a 6 1/2 dozen situation where we don't know what way to turn. Do you know what I mean? Because McDonald's on a lot of money, so we might say, I'll go tomorrow, but I want £500,000 or £250,000 to leave. Do you know what I mean? You don't know.
Can clubs not come in for Matondo and say to Rangers, we want to buy Rabbi Matondo off you? All right, how much? And they say, well, for nothing, but we'll take him off your hands. Can they not do that rather than us having to make Rabbi Matondo a free transfer? Or can you not sell him for £1?
I mean, they probably could, but but he's still in the contract with us. He might want a payment for us to say, well, you know yourself, look at Hadji, he's not only kicked the ball in 2 years yet. If he plays, he's got a wage rise. Because that was running into his contract. You don't know what Matondo's contract's like. So he might, if he leaves early, as a penalty. Basically, I didn't say, if you want me to leave early, pay me this and I'll leave. In the day, you said as well, it's their job. They're not doing this because they like Rangers or the Rangers fans. It's a profession. And if you're at work and I'm at work, or any of you guys are working and they want you to leave, you say, right, I'll go to that place here. But I want you to pay me to go there because I'm happy here. Even though I'm not contributing that much, I'm still happy here sitting, training Monday to Friday, having the weekend to myself. and getting 20 odd grand a week, I'm happy doing that.
Sorry, Rick, I know you were trying to jump in there, right? I want to just say one more thing on the Clement thing. And I know Kerr, you're not going to agree. Kerr will not agree with me here. And I'm maybe being an old Rangers Dan. I'm being bitter. I don't think he should be ever mentioning Roy Keane's name as some sort of standard of anything to do with Rangers Football Club. I didn't like it.
Well, that's it, JD.
No, I agree with you. You shouldn't mention anybody's name outside. If you're going to look back at John Gregg or something.
Yes.
Don't look back at somebody else. But
Roy Keane.
That's just the way.
That's what I was going to say. The players are listening to that pish as well. The crap he was coming out with today, man. He's got to go back into that dressing room. Davies on about motivating the players for tomorrow. Someone from Rangers needs to tell him to rein it in a little bit. We don't want him to be too boring when he's doing these press conferences, but he's just giving ammunition to our rivals, and he's just talking. The players are going to be watching that, thinking, "What are we listening to here?" You know. He's got to be careful when he's coming out with these crazy sound bites about Man United, you know. The only way Tav will be close to Roy Keane is if he lets one of his XL bullies loose in the dressing room. That would maybe be like Roy Keane. But apart from that, the nonsense he was coming out with today was like, come on.
The problem sorry, baby, we don't have MD. I don't think Rangers, as soon as confirmed it, we don't have MD. So... Is there no a custodian? Like John Gregg's aged now. He probably couldn't be that man, but maybe in years gone by, he could have been that man in that situation, even during maybe Le Guin years and stuff. But we don't have a person like, it's not going to be Graham Souness, but someone like that, not even on a consultancy basis, around and about, like an honorary director, somebody who knows what they're talking about and knows what the club means to the fans. And just help guide. Clement needs some guidance. He's played football in big European clubs. He's managed them all over Europe. But this is bigger and different from anything he's ever experienced. And I think he's starting to flap. And I think a lot of managers come to our club, perform and do that. Le Guin done it. Caixinha done it. Clement's doing it. Beale done it because he didn't know what else to do. And I think we just need someone in there or some people in there to help guide. Not an Alex Ray who is... Basically, Clement's his boss, so he can't say anything to him. We need somebody, not even just somebody guide our management team. That's what your director of football should be. The person that guides your manager and the team in the right direction. But nobody knows what the club means to people. Nobody knows what the club's all about, and it's starting to piss a lot of people off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and get the standards back.
Yeah, and another thing that he said today was that he thinks in his time at the moment that we haven't had the results that he thinks that we've deserved. He keeps saying that, well, we're close last season, and he says that he's going to gel the youth in, and we'll see that sort of develop recently. Now, that to me is nonsense because we've not seen that to date too far. We're not close at all. Look at last season. We fell away in a whimper. I mean, do you see that, Ricky? Do you subscribe to him saying that we deserve better than the results that we've had? We're on a run at the moment that is 17 wins and 19 competitive fixtures. That's unsustainable.
Yeah, again, it's about calming everything down and getting the standards back. We need to see performances on the pitch. The fans' eyes don't lie. We saw what we saw against Motherwell. Fans always, their opinions are almost like, okay, we'll argue over silly things, but when we watch the matches, almost all the time we see the same things. Against Motherwell in the first half, we saw some good things. We started to see some patterns. Czerny looked fantastic. He looked decent. Everyone was like, okay, we've got something here. And then the second half, it just completely disappeared, and it went back to everyone scratching their heads going, what are we watching here? We're watching kick and rush. He's bringing fresh players on, but none of it's changing. Motherwell actually could have got an equaliser in that game. The Dynamo Kiev game was very even. Both games were very even. But once we got the sending off, again, people were questioning his tactics when we went down to 10 men. Did he make the right decisions? He brought Sterling on left midfield. He could have brought Fraser on at left back, which would have given the team a bit more balance. But he brought Davies on at left back. He's never been a left back, so he's bringing players on and putting them in crazy positions, and it's just not working. So tomorrow, I hope everything calms down tomorrow. We'll get a good performance, see some of our young players, because there is talent there. Rice is a talent. Fraser's a talent. Like JD said, Fraser's not a young boy anymore. He's 22-year-old. You just gave him a new contract. Get him in at left back. And in my opinion, Yilmaz is finished at Rangers 100%. Yilmaz is made of Easter chocolate. He's never going to make it at Rangers. He can't keep getting. I'm worried about Danilo as well, to be honest, and I think Clement is as well. I hope he doesn't get minutes tomorrow and get injured. We seem to have a pattern of players that we pay fantastic money to, but they play 10 minutes and they get injured, and we've got a few of them, unfortunately, in the squad as well. So hopefully we see a bit of freshness tomorrow and a good performance, and then that'll get the fans. The only way you'll calm everything down and get the fans off your back is by putting on good performances and playing. And don't play a bad game and then tell the fans that you played a good game, because that's just going to make us more angry.
And JD, Ricky makes a good point in regards to injuries, because towards the end of last season, Clement says, give me pre-season and the start of next season and I'll address this issue in regards to injuries. He made changes to the medical department, but here we are. The season is really only 2 weeks in earnest, and then we've got Ridvan Yilmaz out for 46 weeks, Cortez out for 5 weeks, Raskin out for 5 weeks, Balogun now is out for 2 weeks at least. Scott Wright is out for this week. So just what is happening? You know, to me, Clement covers himself up in these contradictions, and that alludes to what you were saying earlier, that some things should just be kept in-house because you may take your words.
I was going to say, I think we've just been unlucky. But see, when you write out 5-6 names, it starts to go away from being unlucky when it gets to 5 or 6 names. Now, if you look at the Ridvan one, he had a shot and he's done something to his thigh. It's wild. So I'm stuck with that one, whether it's our training and our build-up or whether we've bought the wrong profile of player who just aren't robust enough. Somebody said that, robust enough to play in Scotland. But this isn't even about playing in Scotland. The injuries are nothing. Some of the innocuous injuries, I mean, if you go back to the Danilo one, that was nothing. There's nothing. Danilo's one was a nothing injury. He's been gone. Honestly, it's similar to the Hadji injury. I don't think Danilo will be the same player. 100%. And I don't think there was much happening there when he was there. So I don't think so. I think he's going to play tomorrow. I think Danilo will play tomorrow. I think Clement's kind of confirmed it, that he will get minutes. I've said this before. I've said it every week I'm on here. I do not like Clement having this real trust and decision-making allowed by the medical staff. Craig Moore's one of my favourite centre-halves ever. I lost respect for him when he was on the Ange bandwagon, right? But he said, umpteen times gaffers went to him and said, the medical staff saying you're not fit, can you give me it? He's like, aye. So I said, I played 5, 6, 7 games, medically unfit. That's what we need to get back to, because that's when your back's against the wall, you need a result. We need to go to guys who are carrying wee niggles and more and saying, you play? Aye, I'll play. But I'm not sure Clement does that now. Ross was saying that Tav was taking painkillers and all sorts, which is fair enough. I'd expect your captain to do that, but is there other players that we're just easily letting, I've got a knock, don't worry, pal, right? Medical staff agree with you, right? Let's not play. No, are you injured? Aye or not? Let's play.
Well, one thing that I found interesting, and I don't think much of the media has picked up on it, he said in the press conference that effectively that he had an offer during the summer and he didn't want to leave the project because he says that there has been chances for that. Kerr, did that take you by surprise, and are you a wee bit unhappy that he didn't take that chance?
I think when he get a new contract, David, we kind of said that. I see, we thought maybe somebody came in from, that's why Bennett's hurried and gave him that new deal. But we didn't have to, because he's still with 3 years to go, so we didn't have to give that. But obviously he sees something he likes, and fair credit to him, you have to give him a bit of respect for that, to say maybe he's trying to do a job to prove us all wrong, and maybe he's confident enough he can. I mean, he has been unlucky in certain ways. I mean, I can sit here and agree with him on a lot of things, but it's what we do in the park I don't agree with him. Some of his tactics and some of his decision makings are poor on the pitch. Off the pitch, a lot of stuff's no down to him. I do agree, he trusts the medical guys too much. Years ago, players would play if they said they could play, but football's changed for that. You know that yourself. I mean, But we have, know yourself, you can look back at Seb Rosenthal, you can look back at Oleg Kuznetsov. We've had guys we brought in one injury and we've hardly seen them again. So it's not like it's a new thing to us. We've done it in the past and we'll probably seem to do it again. But if Clement was a manager, Big Marvin would never have played from Midi because Marvin Andrews he played through miracle. He just played because he thought, he was supposed to go for an operation and never wanted to play at the end of the season. McLeish just said, on you go, and let him play and let what happens. So football has changed that way, but I think he has to keep things close at his chest. I think he has to tell us less. Tell us what we need to know. Don't indulge us in stuff that maybe we look more into. Don't get me wrong, it gives us something to talk about, but just tell us stuff you think we need to know, because I think he's too open for opposition as well. And tomorrow's not going to be an easy game. St Johnstone won their first game quite easily. They'll butt for tomorrow. They know we are coming off a bad defeat, get knocked out of the Champions League, and we'll be hurt. But also, they think they can come to Hampden because it's no Ibrox and cause an upset. It's not going to. They're not going to come and sit in. They're going to come and attack us, because who wouldn't? When you look at our defence, and if Tom Lawrence is playing, there's going to be space here. But I just think, I think we need to give him a bit of time. I don't think he's going to go. I think he's going to get a full season. I know I said 4 months, but I don't think Rangers will do that for one reason, money. But I don't think they will, because I don't know who else we can get at this moment in time. But I will say, there's been a few things in the comments, people saying Gerrard came in and installed it was us against them mentality very, very quickly. I know we only get one title. He came in at a different time. We're coming back off a long period of where we've been and we were struggling at times, and he came in. Yeah, he only won one, but he made us hard to beat. The players are all fighting for him. A few have said that it's left. They see it different under him. Clement's come into a side. Yeah, you can look at Bill's transfer record and the squad he's got, but he's still better than the squad Gerrard had. And we were at a European Cup final, Europa League Cup final not long ago. So I think Clement's got to take some blame, but I also think he will get a full season, and it's up to him if he can change us or not. I think it's a project. How long's a project? I don't want to be sitting here at the end of the season still saying, well, next season, how are we going to do a rebuild? I don't see us bringing many players in, to be honest with you, coming in January. I maybe get 1, 2 at most, maybe a few loans. I don't see many others, but it's wait and tell. But it's waiting and see, and time will tell. But there's no many days left, is there? And Saturday could turn it either way. Saturday could be a day where we have to force issue.
Well, Ricky, if we take as well the fact that he said, the club, the reason that the signings are sort of waiting on outgoings coming is because the club can't be in the same situation it was 12 years ago. So the fact that he's coming out and saying that tells me that we're in for a long season. But I think what comes of that, as much as we went in depth to Clement, the vast majority of problems that we're experiencing now, the fact that we're not playing at our home stadium, the fact that there is a lack of investment, we don't have a CEO, that all falls at the chairman's doorstep and in the boardroom level. And unfortunately, they're not doing enough, to protect the club, to support the fan base and ultimately protect the manager, because Clement's the one that does a weekly or a 2 weekly press conference. He's the guy having to answer all the questions to do with everything in regards to the club. The ticket issue with Celtic today, he turned around and said he didn't know nothing about it. And I know the opposition manager touched on that, and we will come to that before the end of the show. But what does a board need to do for you in order to address everything, certainly before the window, but also to try and improve things just now, because we know we're not going to be back at Ibrox anytime soon?
Well, in the short term, they need to find money for him before the end of the window. We need to bring in 3 or 4 players. I think people will come in at the last minute for your Cantwells and Hadjis. I think they know that they are ripe for the picking, and I think at the last minute they'll offer us peanuts, and you will get rid of Cantwell, you will get rid of Hadji, you might be able to get rid of Matondo. So the board have got, I wouldn't even class it as a gamble. We're in the Europa League. We've got 8 games in the Europa League. We know what our finances are going to be for this year. So the board have to give them something, give them some crumbs, To be fair to Clement, right, we can speak about Clement all we want, right? But that man has had a brutal time since he became the manager of Rangers. You can imagine the interview he did with our chairman, Graham Souness, and we sold him this dream about Glasgow Rangers and how amazing it was going to be. And then he got to January and he's like, right, okay, I'm going to sign a few players. No, you're not. You don't have any money. We gave him zero money in January. So he's like, oh, Jesus, okay. So in the summer, he's loses 6 players, thinking, okay, give me some money to rebuild. And the board have given him absolutely nothing. And okay, you can say we've brought in some players that are a bit questionable. Why did we need to spend that money on the striker for 1.2 million, whatever it was? But the board, in the short term, they've got to find money before the end of the window. Let them get 3 or 4 players in that the starting 11 badly needs. And then they need to really, really listen to the fans. Clement is doing a question and answer session on the 10th of September. He's going to be sitting down. I don't know if it's Edmonton House, and there's going to be. Why is Clement doing that? That should be John Bennett that's doing that. John Bennett should be sitting down. No softball questions from Rangers TV or anything like that. It should be fan media, fair questions. Be able to ask the board, say what is the plan for the future. Are you the man to take this club forward? Because we seem to be falling further and further behind Celtic. So you need to tell us what the plan is. We need a CEO. We need a director of the academy needs sorted out. I mean, the 2 people that are in charge of the B team just now, we need to get that academy sorted out so we're actually bringing through players for the first team. And then also the other positions that need filled. I mean, a director of football, putting all that on Clement's not even fair. Him having to do all of that stuff for Coppin, who's like Kerr said on Monday, the guy's a football scout, you know. He used to play football manager, and now he's in charge of our massive rebuild with no money. We're being run, and it's an absolute mess from top to bottom, and it's got to change. And the fans have to see what the plan is going forward, because the fans are only going to get more angry, and that needs to change.
JD, if I take, part of what Ricky's saying there, and the fact that, the board have got to help the manager, but at the moment, Clement looks as if he's putting the sound bites across that their hands are tied and nothing can be done at the moment. So Clement talking today at the press conference at length seems to be, batting down the hatches for long-term pain at the moment, or at least short-term pain for long-term gain, rather. As Rangers fans, will that ever be acceptable? Because, as Ross Clark said last week, we're sitting at 118 trophies each. Whoever wins the first one this season, and certainly whoever wins the league title, become the big dogs.
Yeah. Bring your songbook after that. It's not acceptable. Never. I don't care what MD says. We don't sit here living through what we've lived through, grew up all the years. We don't. That's not acceptable. We don't. And we'll be better by October. The league's done by October. Well, I've lived through titles that we've won by October, so the league can be done by October. So you don't have that time, unfortunately. And I know his hands are tied, but I'll go back to the old. See if Paul, I keep calling him Paul Clement. Phil Clement came in with a style and said, I play 4-3-3. This is where and we're like, the fat Aussie done with them. Came in and they were dreadful for the first 5 or 6 weeks. And we were on here. People were retweeting me 2 years later, things that I'd said in their first few games because they were terrible. But they came through it all. That's what I would have wanted to see Clement from last season. This is what I'm going to play. I want the B team to play this way. Gerrard done that. It's not rocket science. Folk will say, you've not got the players to play it. They're all football players. They're all getting paid X amount of money. Make them play it. And then if they can't play it, then you identify the ones that can't play it. And then they get shipped out. But we don't even do that. What he's doing is, Ryan Jack said on that podcast, just get the ball forward. That's his style. So this is Clement's style. Clement's style is get the ball forward. That's not good enough for Rangers. That's maybe a Aberdeen or a Hibs or Hearts. This is Rangers we're playing. We don't need to get the ball forward quickly against Aberdeen. Take the ball out to the back. Look at what we've done in Europe all those years under Gerrard. I know we only won one league, but we knocked the ball around. Some of the goals we scored, the one that Hadji took it in, knocked it in the corner. The goals we scored were unbelievable. We were hammering big teams in Europe. Now we're just trying to cling on and against Motherwell and fucking stuff like that. So I think tomorrow's a mass. I'm worried about tomorrow after seeing what St Johnstone done to Hibs. Was it Hibs? No, Kelly, sorry. I'm worried. They're centre forwards. We're in trouble because I don't think we've got that big commanding centre half anymore.
Well, with Balogun missing, Care, we don't have that recovery pace. And if you look at Sidibe, he's the guy for St Johnstone that's got a ton of pace and will look to run the channels and run in behind. And that's where teams target us and exploit us. And if Clement continues to play this high line and man-for-man defending, then teams know how we're going to set up. And the one thing that I do not subscribe to with Clement is the fact that he just plays the same way regardless. And if somebody drops out, he just finds... So, for example, say Tom Lawrence get injured, he would just bring Alex Lowry probably in to replace Tom Lawrence. It's no looking at what you've got and trying to shape up the team to suit that. It's just horses for courses for his formation. And at Rangers, you have to think outside the box. We've seen Gerrard at times. Yes, he did have a rigid formation, but we've seen games against Motherwell away and stuff like that. He tweaked it to a 5 at the back and stuff like that. So why does Clement no look at what he's got and think, how can I get the best out of the players he's got, rather than just put square pegs and round holes in the formation?
All managers have a style, Davey, and sometimes it doesn't matter what happens, they're going to stick to it. Managers can be stubborn, that's why they're in this position, because they're way or nothing. And I think all the games, even last season, we started okay, but we were always under the cosh at times, and there's a lot of games we did concede. I think every game now we're playing, we're going to give away chances, just the way we play. We're open, but he's expecting us to score maybe or something. If they get 1, we get 2. If they get 2, we should be getting 3. A bit like Kevin Keegan into it in Newcastle. That's just the way he is. He's not going to change that, I don't think. I think he's been here long enough to know he doesn't change formations. He's going to stick with what he knows. He's going to stick with what he likes with. And I know he keeps coming and saying until he gets the players he wants. That's just fine. But sometimes, like I've always said, if you've not got the players, get a formation that suits the players you've got until you can get what you want in, and then change it. Because some of our players can't play the way he wants to play. But we struggle. You see, we lack pace at the back. We lack physicality at the back. And we do get the ball up the park quick, but it doesn't stick because Dessers isn't that type of centre forward either. So listen, in times in this since the season started, we've done okay against Marbella for 30 minutes. Probably that was a bit after that. We kind of hung on to the end. And Marbella didn't create a lot. Didn't really have a lot of chances, but they were round about the area, and it was just a case of a long ball or a cross or a corner or something like that. It could have come off. Somebody made an equaliser. So against better opposition, you just never know. Listen, Theo Bear done it to his last season, didn't he? He took goals into cleaners, and I think the big boy tomorrow, he started the season well. We won a bit of confidence, and teams used to come up against Rangers. You know it yourselves, used to, and they used to fear us. And sometimes they'd lost the game before they even come onto the pitch because of that. Look at that Rangers type lineup. We're not going to get anywhere near them today. But when you look at our lineups now, everybody's saying we've got a chance here, and I don't blame them, to be honest with you. So tomorrow is a hard game for him. I will say, I'll stick up and say it's a hard game for him tomorrow because he doesn't want to lose it, obviously. I know he's mentioned some of the younger guys, but I still feel he's going to go with who he's tried and tested. The only thing I'll say is people are saying Jeffy should play instead of Robbie Fraser. Robbie Fraser's had a longer career in football than Jeffy. Jeffy's only played 1 year of professional football and then he joined us, and he's only 20. Robbie Fraser's older. I mean, at Rangers since he's about 7 or something. So you kind of look at it that way. So I think he has to maybe give Robbie Fraser minutes tomorrow, starting him. Maybe play Jeffy in front because we all know Atondo signed me. I would start Bailey Rice, but I know he won't. He'll probably go with the 2 usual ones. But I wouldn't start Lawrence. I think Lawrence needs a rest. I also think Tavernier needs a rest. So I would start Sterling at right back. I do think Tavernier needs a rest. I think he has to play it up because there's so many games coming up. And even though what he's saying, the board are reading into, and some of the fans are starting to say, we'll give him a chance. But as you see, it only takes a couple of defeats and the story turns again. Everybody's on his back. I would like Clement to circle the wagons and just to say, everybody, listen, things aren't going great now. Everybody out there is against us. They're all laughing at us. Let's show them something different. But he's not even done that.
And Ricky, John Souttar was put forward as the player to take the press conference today. And there was a question that threw at him, and I'm sure a lot of people's ears pricked up when they see it. It was a bit car crash, if we're being brutally honest. and that was the fact that he was asked, your manager said during the week, it'll be October before you hit your best form. Do you agree with that? And he says, aye, I think the manager was right. Now, as a Rangers player, you've got to read the room first and foremost. As a Rangers player, how's that go down to the fan base? This is a guy that's played with, like say, a Hearts for the vast majority of the time. At Rangers, you have to win every week. You can't get away with saying that. As Kerr and JD have both alluded to earlier, at Rangers, you can't kick into gear at October, November, December, because at that point, the league title's away. So who at Rangers is advising the players in terms of, media presentation? This is what you should say, this is what you shouldn't, because that is an embarrassing own goal for John Souttar, is it not? And just before you answer that, his performances have been horrendous of late.
That's what, maybe he got confused and he was thinking that that's when he's going to start playing as October, because you're right. To be fair, he had a good performance against Kiev. I thought he was all right through the week. It was his best. His performances before that with Tav, honestly, dumb and dumber on the right-hand side of our defence, absolutely shocking. And I totally agree with Kerr. To be honest, I don't listen to players' press conferences. It's a waste of your life for 3 minutes. I always try and listen to the managers, and I know before we were slagging him off a little bit for the rubbish he was saying about Man United, but I find players, and that's all players, they're so media trained that it's a waste of your life for 3-4 minutes. But I did see that clip about him saying that the manager said in October, and to be fair, he didn't look too happy with the guy that asked the question. I think he knew that the reporter was fishing for, and these newspapers are always fishing for clickbait with Rangers players, So I thought it was a little bit, the way he answered it was a little bit like he was a little bit angry about the question, But no, I mean, October's, if we lose badly against them in a few weeks' time, and then that's exactly the same as what happened with Bale last season. We lost badly against them, and then what happened was the Aberdeen came to Ibrox and schooled us 3-0. The fans will just be apoplectic, The fans will be going absolutely bananas, and it doesn't matter if the manager has a 20-year contract; he won't survive. The fans will turn on the whole club, and we're getting close to that situation now. I think.
I don't think Souttar believed his answer. Souttar, what else is John Souttar supposed to say? Oh no, my gaffer's talking piss here. We're going to be right back at it tomorrow. But that's what I want to hear. No. See, tomorrow we'll prove he's all wrong tomorrow. But what's he supposed to say? Do you know what I mean? So I felt for Souttar in that moment. Players don't want to be there. Players, who was a young boy?
No.
Elise with Bayern Munich during the week. Done it right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Away he went. That proved that players don't let's not
100%.
Ask the managers the questions. Aye.
Mm-hmm.
But JD, if we take that on board in terms of the mood in the camp at the moment, it's probably an all-time low in terms of us being, a top flight club, allegedly challenging for a title, and things are looking pretty bleak to be brutally honest. And if we think that the Hampden crowd wasn't great for a Champions League qualifier during the week, the Mora, it's probably going to be the worst home crowd since the 1980s. Has apathy set in amongst the support?
I said that earlier. I believe it has. I think in the space of the press conference today, folk are a bit apathetic towards Clement. It's a bit like, it's not his fault. I'm no in that. I think it's his fault, like I've just said. I think he needs to make his play better. And you've got professional football players there. It's your job to make them better. But they're all terrible. But they're professional football players. Make them do a job. But the whole everything's up against us now. Is this the worst time? Well, no, because we went through Beale, we went through Gio's turgid fit, but we basically hounded the two of them out. I feel like it's gone the same way. So I don't feel like it's the worst. I think it's the worst off the park in recent times, 7 or 8 years, 10 years, something like that. But no, because we keep recycling this, folks. No, that goes against my argument that it's no the manager's fault. It is the manager's fault, because I want them to get the players to play well. That's their job.
And obviously, Kerr, the stadium thing falls on the board. But one thing I want to touch in depth amongst all three is, and I'll start with yourself, is the fact that the stuff come out about the season tickets today, and obviously Clement was asked at a press conference, played it down, says, I don't know nothing about that, that's above my head. But the opposition manager and Brendan Rodgers come out and obviously nailed his colours to the mast, is say Celtic never got the assurances for your club that, one, our stadium would be ready, two, it would be safety certified, and three, we could guarantee them the allocation that they'd be giving us. So if we take that into consideration, and let's face it, our club hasn't fought back to that statement, so there's got to be an element of truth of that, because if that was nonsense, we would shoot it down quickly, and we haven't. So let's be fair here. We as a club at every level at the moment are operating as a shambles, and the Old Firm being the big fixture that it is in the league, the one that generates the TV deal and the sponsorship, for that to go another 2 games into a season, potentially 4 games, depending on when we return to Ibrox, it's unacceptable. It's tin pot really for a league like this.
It's not great, Davey, no, but listen, I kind of knew when the stadium build was happening, something might happen. I think the media obviously try to make it more than it is. I think they've jumped in the bandwagon, obviously question Rodgers. He said what he's got to say. He gave him a wee rise in the Celtic fans' eyes. He came out to be Mr. Celtic, didn't he? And he was happy saying this stuff. Listen, see, at the end of the day, we did start this, right? We took their allocation away, right? For whatever reason, we took their allocation away, and that's fine. But we've sold it to season ticket holders, so we can't give them back, because their end goal is they want the 7,500 back. But I'm not going to get that, because our season ticket holders in there, and I wouldn't be moving a season ticket holder for 2 games just to appease them. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't. So take 5-10%, whatever it is, that's it. But I think, I don't know, if I had a meeting at Ibrox, a meeting at Celtic Park and said, what's happening here with but the Rangers game's not until, Celtic game's not until, was it January? So how can they say at the moment the stadium's not going to be ready? They're doing work at the stadium now. I think putting the nets up is it's no priority at this moment in time. I think it's getting that stand fixed. So I think the nets can go up probably over maybe 24 hours. I can put the nets up, because the hook's in the Broom one stand for it anyway, because that's where the bit of tifo, so the hook's already there. So I don't think it'd be an issue to put the nets up. But I think it's just another way of getting into media and they're getting a point across, as they always try and do, to say, oh, you started this. And we did. There's no shying it. We did start it. But at the end of the day, we're not going to use it back either. So stop trying to be clever about it. It's not like going to Celtic Park, but we get treated like shit. See, that's about their fans are in fear and their fans asking that Ibrox. Maybe so. But I've been there. I've been pelted with stuff. You get treated like cattle with the police. You get searched 2 or 3 times. You get took up to the Emirates Arena 2 hours before kick-off so you can go across the road. It's just as bad for us, but it seems to be all comes for them. But I will say, Rangers board don't stick up for the fans. The Rangers board don't see a lot. And then maybe you say some truth in it. But the club like to release statements. But statements aren't usually that useful. But they have to come out and say something about this. Because especially because they've said something. But I don't know if I trust the board to come out and say the right things. I don't know if I trust this board at all, to be honest with you. I think the first thing the board have to do is appoint a CEO, and very, very quickly. Director of football can come, because usually the CEO appoints him, but get a CEO in, I don't care who it is. Just get somebody in who can actually start running things properly at this football club.
And Ricky, does Kerr make a great point? Because we all know the things that on and off the park at the moment, at every level of the club, for the youth team, the youth academy, right through to the senior team and off the park and the stadium is a complete and utter shambles. But we don't have a CEO. We need to find a CEO and somebody that's got a voice for the club, somebody that can be a figurehead, because we're an easy target at the moment from the media and the outside detractors, but we're also a target from within our own fan base at the moment, and there's nobody there to bear the brunt of that. It's a tough job for somebody to come into, but the longer that goes on, I think the worse things get.
Yeah, can it go back to the point about, for me, this is like something David Murray would have done back in the day. Celtic are absolutely grandstanding This is all for their support. Their stadium needed a lot more work than Ibrox needed, because they've got a tiny section for away fans. So their stadium, they had to build staircases and fences, and they had to get planning permission. For as far as I'm aware, Ibrox is almost set up. Like, we always have the barriers. The buses are parked around the back. We just have to put the nets up to protect. Because, listen, idiots that throw stuff. We don't want to see any supporters getting pelted with coins and stupid stuff. I mean, that time when the glass was getting chucked on the pitch, we don't want to see any of that garbage. It just brings the club's name right through the gutter on both sides. That's not supporting your team. That's just being an idiot. So we want to get these nets up and protect our away fans. But for me, it's a massive shame, because I remember being years ago at the Old Firm game that was 1-1 when John Collins scored. And there was a plane above the stadium with a banner that day, and it was horrible. Even back then, it was absolutely horrible. You need that rivalry. You need both sets of fans, and it's just ruining Scottish football. There's so many things about Scottish football that drive you absolutely up the wall, and it needs to change. We need leadership from Doncaster. How he gets that salary, I will never know. Like, it's absolutely, that guy is the worst leader you can ever imagine. So going on to the CEO, yeah, we definitely need a CEO. But I mean, the way Bennett was speaking a few weeks ago, it didn't seem like it was really priority for him. He was going to do all the transfers, but he seems to have lost his mobile phone or something since the window's been open. But he was going to take on the job of doing all the transfers, and it sort of felt like he was quite laid back about it. But a club Rangers size, we need a CEO in soon, because we've got so many issues that we need to get sorted out with. 100%. Hopefully, there was rumours of a name today, but that didn't happen. So we'll see. Hopefully next week we'll get somebody announced.
JD, you get any thoughts on it in terms of the fact that we are an easy target and we were shot down in the media today by the opposition, and we've got nobody sort of retaliating on the club's behalf? Ricky alluded to, I think the rumours are that the Hearts CEO is rumoured to be, the boy McKinley is rumoured to be in position. I don't know if I subscribe to that, but you get anything to add? Is that what we're missing just now, a voice for the club?
Maybe if we had the person there that held a bit of standard, these things wouldn't happen in the first place. I'm not a big in for they've said something, get a statement out. I don't care. Honestly, we are the bigger club. We should be the bigger club. We're not the bigger club. So maybe that's what we need, that leadership. And just let them make their noise. Rodgers was flashing a Gucci belt at the Celtic fans, and they were all staring and googling eyes at it today. That's what that was all about. He'll go again. Another treble. They'll love that. Listen, another treble for them. He'll go down south again, leave him. It's going to happen. So, but I just think we need to just get our house in order. This season's, for me, I don't want to be negative, but I feel the season's done. I mean, I'm feeling that the season's done. I don't see where we're going to pull this back. I don't see anything for the team to pull anything back. We've got nothing in the boardroom. We've got no football men. We've got no Rangers men. They might be Rangers fans, but they don't know how to run a football club. Like, we're saying Bennett or sort the transfers out. We probably don't have any money. That's probably when it comes down to. We don't have any money, so we can't go and buy something, because you try and cut a deal for, I don't know, Luke McCowan for £1 million. Oh, Dundee, can we give you that £1 million next year? Or can we give you that £1 million if we sell Rabbi Matondo? No, we want the £1 million now. Shit, Hibs will give you the £1 million now. Like, that's maybe what we're in. Although we've got assurances of 12 million coming after Europa, so it's not as bad as that, right? I'm talking rubbish, but that's probably the problem why we're not getting players in, and that is that we can't physically buy people if we don't have the money. So I feel sorry for him in that way, but he's so far out of his league that this appointment needs to be the right one. It needs to be the right one. Maybe that's why they're taking time with it, but it needs to be somebody who, and this is old-fashioned, it needs to know the club, maybe needs to support the club, it needs to know about Fitba.
No, I think that's very fair. And if we can take it back to Fitba here, we play St Johnstone Namora. We do have a depleted squad at the moment, and the selection choices that are there, it'd be interesting to see if anybody that's been on the periphery will be involved. I don't think he's going to deviate for his formation in the 4-3-3 with a 10. So who would you like to see get minutes tomorrow, and how do you think we'll shape up? You're on mute, Keir.
I would start Liam Kelly tomorrow. I think you bring somebody in. He's a Scotland keeper. JD just had the shot.
That's the least worries, man. I used one to give. We looked at homes of this cup. Wait till I put my pipe down. Start Liam Kelly.
Honestly,
all the problems we've got, we keep Jack Butland and we'll worry about the 10 in front of him because we can change the 10 in front of him, not the fucking number 1. I'm going to do it.
He's got the eyebrows coming back in a minute. No, I would actually bring Liam Kelly in. I think he needs minutes. They brought him in. Butland's been okay, but I think Jack, I think you need to bring him in. I just think you need to give him game time. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. Right back, Tab will probably start. But I would rest him as well. I'd play Sterling there. Right back, has to be Suter and Proper, and left back I would go with Robbie Fraser. Middle of the park, you're going to have to go with Dio and Barron, aren't you? And further ahead of them, I would if it was me, he's going to laugh at us again, isn't he? I'd actually find somebody like Alec Lowry or Kieran Dowell as a 10, because I think Lawrence needs a rest. On the left, you play Jeffrey in front of Fraser, and on the right, Cherney, and you have to go with Dessers. Cadinello, we don't know if he can last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 35 seconds. We don't know what his injury is. We don't know if he's going to pull up, hitting a shot, hitting a pass. We don't know. But there's not a lot. We have to listen. He's got a small player pool he's picking from at the moment, and with injuries are mounting up. So he's going to have to give these other guys minutes, because 1 or 2 more injuries, like GD has already said, he's going to have to go to these guys and say, listen, I need you to dig me out a hole, because I'm not going to bring new players in at this moment in time. So we're going to have to give other guys minutes. I'd like to see Rice get minutes tomorrow as well, but it's a difficult game because St Johnstone's going to come full of confidence. They're going to come thinking they can beat us, and rightly so. So it will be a difficult game, but he has to give guys minutes, because 1 or 2 more injuries, we're snookered, we're behind the 8 ball. I don't know what else he's going to do.
Ricky, if we take that into consideration tomorrow, that we are defending our League Cup, so we're looking to retain that trophy. It's important that we win the first trophy available to us this season, so it keeps us in terms of the lead in the trophy hall. So do you subscribe to the fact that tomorrow, regardless of circumstances, we start with the best 11 players available tomorrow?
Well, it depends what you class the best 11 players as, Davey. Number 1, drive round to Kerr's house and unplug his Football Manager, for God's sake, man. No, I would, me personally, I would love to see this team tomorrow. A bit of freshness, I would go Butland in goal. Basically, what CGM chose earlier, I would go Butland in goal, Sterling, Suter, Proper, Fraser. I would put Rice in front of them, Barron and Diamande, and then I would go Cherney on the right, Dessers up front, and I would go Jeffrey. Now, I would love to see Lowry involved, but I was looking at all the pictures from the training today. I know that's a little bit sad, and Lowry wasn't even in any of the... He wasn't in any of the training videos, so it looks like it doesn't matter how many times he puts it in the top corner. I think our manager's stubborn, Clement, and he can score as many goals as he wants with the B team, but it doesn't look like he's going to be involved for the first team anytime soon, which is such a shame because he's got so much talent. So that's the team I would go. Some youth in there, some freshness in there. Try and make this defence a bit stronger, because we've only got 3 games until we play them. And I'd like to see Sterling next to Suter at right back. Give him a run in his proper position, for God's sake, you know. Fans are judging him, and he's playing left midfield, right midfield. It's like, give the guy a break, for God's sake, man. He's a right back. Play him at right back. So that's the team I would like to see.
You took the words out of my mouth there, Kerr. We'll be playing left back tomorrow. That was my joke, Kerr. We'll be playing left back tomorrow.
JD, if he starts at left back tomorrow, then I'm starting to lose it with the manager, honestly. If he's giving people new contracts, like you said, he's 22-year-old. Fraser's 22. He's 20. It's bonkers. We've got 2 left backs, and Sterling will start at left back. It wouldn't surprise me. We'll probably see
Ben
Lawrence.
Davies.
He'll probably start Lawrence, and it'll be
Fuck.
or Ben
Plays
Davies.
Ben Davies
Oh
at
my
left
god!
back. No, he can't.
Davy-
He can't play Davies at left back tomorrow. He's got Fraser, Yefty, or Sterling before Davies. I think Sterling will
Yes.
play. See on the Alex Lowry thing.
Oh no!
Alex Lowry, right? And I'm a big. I've done this a couple of years ago with Stephen Kelly, and I've done it the year after with Alex Lowry. I just don't think he's going to be good enough to play first team football. Alex Lowry can date for the B team in the Lowland League. That's junior football. Boys in junior football scoring goals like that every weekend, and they look amazing. Alex Lowry is a mercurial talent, but I don't think he's ever going to come in because his style is not befitting what Clement wants. He's lazy looking, he'll strut about. He doesn't want that. Alex Lowry will not play with Rangers. He'll not play under Clement at all. We can forget about Lowry, forget about Hadji, forget about Cantwell. Honestly, folks, need to put it to bed. And I know we wouldn't have a podcast about what we talk about, but we need to, for team selection wise, these boys are not going to play. You're going to have Matondo playing in the 10 sooner before Hadji or Cantwell.
Or Sterling.
Sterling will play the 10.
Sterling.
Well, on that note, that brings things to a depressing end here on Not Another Rangers podcast. Hopefully that's been the counselling service for all you Rangers fans watching and all our opposition fans that tune in to watch us as well. Just before we go, please like, share, subscribe. Please remember there's no membership fees involved in this podcast and there's no merchandise to sell. The content is and always will be free. It's good night from them, and it's good night from me. Good night.